Okay, friends, let's lower onto our backs. Bend your knees and step your feet out as wide as the mat or just wider than your hips, and place your knees, knock them together. And we could start off by placing one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. And taking your cleansing breaths here. Let me know if you can hear my voice. Okay, good. So with one hand on your belly, allow each inhale to lift the belly up. So fill it up like a Santa belly. And then exhale, release the belly softly down. And then again, inhale, belly rises, fill up. Exhale, contracts back softly. Keep going. Inhale, let the belly rise. Let the tension release from the tummy, and exhale, belly softly softens down. Keep going. So you'll notice that sometimes we hold a little tension in the tummy if you seem to have a hard time letting the belly rise up and fill and expand. And then you let it softly contract down towards the mat, towards the spine. So pay attention to your breath, pay attention to the body parts that come into play. To the sensations that are arising. And start to slowly check in with yourself. Check in with your body, with any of the sensations that might be going on. And it's without having to change any of it. It's just seeing it. And accepting and allowing it. And then going back to the breath. So it's this constant exchange with the body and the breath. And inviting whatever's coming on, whatever's happening, whatever's going on, and knowing that you're okay, and you're showing that you're okay. You're showing your body that you're okay by continuing to breathe. So this practice flows into your life off the mat. And when you come to challenge or struggle or strife, and you really implement the breath in that moment, you're also letting you're also letting your body know that it's okay, right? That it doesn't have to clam up and stiffen and harden and resist. Because by breathing, you're showing that, hey, you know what? It's okay. This is happening, but I'm going to get through it. And just like everything, it is temporary and it will pass. So we do this on and off the mat. And this is what the yoga practice teaches us. So begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And take a stretch. Reach your arms up overhead. Straighten your legs. Point your toes. Flex. Maybe roll your ankles. And now bring your knees into your chest. And slowly rock side to side. And hopefully you've begun to already take inventory of your body, checking in. How is my lower back? How are my hips? How is my mind? Am I focusing on my breath? Nice swaying side to side and using your breath. Both hips on the mat, come back to center. Hold on to your right knee, straighten your left leg all the way down to your mat. And then draw your right knee towards your chest. And also bring the right knee to the side, to the right side of the body. So on the outside of the right body. Does that sound good? So the right knee wider than your side body. There we go. I think that's a little better. Maybe rock the knee back and forth, side to side. Place your knee center with your right chest. Now you're going to take the knee with your right hand, open it up, and place your left hand on your left hip. So we're just opening the hip, getting into the inner thigh. How is the breath here? And take your knee in back to center. And now we're going to come into a twist. So grab your knee with your left hand and take it all the way to the right. Reach your right arm out straight. If you'd like, you can straighten your leg. And then draw the right hip forward, away from your chest. And then on your inhale, bring your right knee back to center. Straighten your right leg, lower it onto your mat, and then bring your left knee in. Same idea, let's rock the knee side to side, right, left. And then open the knee out to the left. Place your right hand on your right hip. Find your breath. Inhale, knee comes back to center. Cross the knee over to the right. Take a twist. Again, you can straighten the left leg and draw the hip away from your chest. Slowly inhale, come back to center. Take your shins up towards the ceiling. And actually, let's do a pose before we get into ab work. Let's plant our feet onto the mat and take them out hip width distance. So look down at your feet and check to see that they're on the outside edges of your hips. All right, now press the inner foot, so the big toe side of the foot, the pinky toe side of the foot, so the outer foot. Press down a lot, and now lift your hips off the mat. Come into bridge pose. Straighten your arms onto the mat and palms are facing up. Roll your shoulder heads back so that your chest lifts even more. Keep pressing the feet down, so feel the activation in the backs of the thighs, the hamstrings. Those are firing up. And then exhale, lower the hips down. Again, press down a lot through the feet. Inhale, lift your hips up. This time, interlace your hands underneath your hips. Straighten your arms. And again, roll the shoulder heads back or walk the shoulder blades in. So we want the backs of the thighs firing up. Don't loosey-goosey the legs. Pretend like there's a beach ball in between your thighs and squeeze your thighs towards each other. Keep breath going. And then exhale, release the interlace, lower the hips down. So another bridge pose, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, feet down, hips up, interlace the opposite way, so the opposite thumb on top, and then again, walk the shoulder blades in towards each other. Direct the buttocks, flesh, towards the calves. This will help you to neutralize your pelvis. And then exhale, lower the hips down, release the interlace. Walk your feet out as wide as a mat. Bend your elbows or reach your arms up overhead and windshield wipe your knees side to side. And then bring your knees back up to center. Walk your feet in. Again, shoulder width apart or hips width apart. You can leave your arms up overhead or bring them back down towards the sides of your body. Now we're gonna do these pelvic tilts here. So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about sliding the buttocks flush towards the calves. So we're gonna do this while our hips are down on the mat. So slide your buttocks flush towards your heels this time and see how there's kind of a tilt with the frontal hip bone. So let's place our hands on our frontal hip bones. Okay, so engage the belly and slide the buttocks towards the heels. Now release it and feel underneath your low back that there's a space. I'll make it even more cues. So feel the space underneath your low back. Now we're gonna cancel out that space. Press the low back down into the mat. And now we're sliding the buttock flush towards the heel. So are we understanding this motion? And then we release. And now again, if we place our hands underneath the low back, we feel this. So we don't need to lift the hips up. We just feel underneath and it's automatically there because there's a little arch in the low back generally, naturally. Again, we're gonna flatten out the low back, push the low back down. Simultaneously, the action of the buttocks will go down towards the heels. Okay, and then exhale, release. So that is just showing you how we cancel out the lower back injury or impingement. Let's lift the shins, parallel them up towards the sky. And maybe you feel that space again underneath the low back. Cancel it out. Push the low back down into the mat. Feel your tummy charging up. Place your hands underneath your head. Elbows are wide. And on an exhale, lift your chest up towards the sky. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Keep your elbows wide. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Keep going. Three, one, lower all the way down. Knees come to chest. Rock from side to side. So again, we're gonna bring the legs up towards tabletop, and we're learning the pelvic tilt. So push the low back down into the mat, brace the core. So imagine like someone's gonna punch you in the stomach and you don't want your belly to be hollow. You want it to be like a wall. So brace your core. Again, place your hands underneath your head. This time we're gonna cross right elbow to left knee on our exhale crunch. Ready? Take an inhale before we exhale. Lift, crunch, right to left knee. Come back to stay center. Stay up and then exhale left. Stay up, cross over. This time we're not lowering down, we're staying up. 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, knees into chest, rock from side to side. Nice. So let's rock to the right side, come into fetal position for a second, and then we'll push up slowly to hands and knees. Spread your fingers when you place your hands on your mat and push down through the thumb side, the pinky side, all 10 fingers and both palms basically. Take an inhale, reach open the chest forward, cow. Exhale, round your spine for cat. Inhale, chest opens. Exhale, round. Okay, pause here, pause in cat. Push your spine all the way up. Push, 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 push. Pretend like you're a cat. And then inhale, dip the spine just a little. Open up the shoulders. So round the shoulder heads back. Create space from shoulder to neck. Good. Now round. Push the spine up. Okay, now I want you to move through your pace, your breath. And please don't rush through these poses. These are very important poses. Really meant for you to link your breath with your movement. And it's not about my pace or keeping up with your neighbor. It's about your pace and creating your own space and practice. So we're gonna take 2 more rounds. Press the tops of the feet down, spread all 10 toes, push them down. They are your anchors just as much as your hands are. And when you're ready, push your hips back for child's pose. Rest your forehead on your mat. Smooth breaths here, in and out. Come back to all fours. So see that your shoulders are above your wrists and your hips are above your knees. And keep your knees hips width distance. Okay, so we're gonna use the core here. So again, brace the core so that you're creating like a wall. Take an inhale and reach the right arm forward. Keep the length in the spine. And then take another inhale, lift your left leg and flex your left foot. So how do you flex your left foot? Your toes go downward as your heel presses straight back. How is the breath here? Right hand down, left knee down. Now we're gonna take it to the opposite side. Brace your core, take an inhale, lift your left arm forward. Keep the long spine, and then right leg reaches back, reaching that heel all the way back, the toes point down. And then exhale, lower the left hand, right knee. Again, right arm forward. Inhale, left leg back. Find your breath here. Find both hips level, so try not to lift one hip higher than the other. Right hand down, left knee down. Keeping the core braced, because this is abdominal work as well. Inhale, reach the left arm forward. Right leg back, flex through the right foot. Reach your heel back. How is that breath? Left hand down, right knee down. Come back to child's pose, forehead on mat. Root down into your breath. And maybe choose an intention for this practice or for today, or maybe a dedication to someone. Walk your arms forward, spread through your hands, and then slightly angle your hands out just a little bit, outwardly. Lift the elbows, lift the forearms. Press your weight into your hands as you curl your toes for upward, downward facing dog. Apologies. Pedal out your dog here, bend one knee, bend the other, and keep the spine long, keep the hips reaching back. Find that your spine is in a slope going towards your heels. So it's not going to be like a perfect triangle where your buttocks is up center. Your buttocks is slanting downward. Find stillness in your down dog and then widen out your stance. So step your feet out a little wider than your hips. And now bend both knees. Keep your back straight. Your hips, again, straight back. Weight into the hands, not into the wrists. Straighten your legs. 2 breaths. So find that in your yoga practice, you begin to close out all of the stimulus and just listen to words. Walk your hands back towards feet. So this is another practice that we can use to quiet the mind and even quiet visually the eyes. So the eyes don't need to always be looking. You can be listening to words and see where you're at as far as what you can follow and connect it to your awareness. Grab onto your elbows and slowly sway side to side, nice and easy. Releasing the neck muscles, letting the crown of the head drop down. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. Keep a slight micro bend in the knees, release the elbows, and slowly roll up vertebrae by vertebrae to allow your head to come up last, just like a rag doll. Let your arms hang, and then lift your head up. Nice. Good. Walk up to the front of your mat. And stand with your feet about hips width distance apart. Lift all 10 toes off your mat. And then slowly lower your toes down, spreading them as they lower. And now we feel that we are we're actually using our toes when we stand. We don't usually use our toes. So now let's bring awareness to the inner part of the foot, the outer part of the foot. Now push down through all of that. So now we're establishing our Tadasana, our mountain pose, and we're rooting ourselves. Going up the leg, let's lift the kneecaps up, so engaging the thigh muscles. And as we engage the thigh muscles, draw the buttocks flesh again down towards the heel. So we were doing this when we were laying down on our mat, right? So we tend to stand like this, yes? Now look how much is going on in the low back. So to neutralize the pelvis, we're going to glide the buttocks towards the heels. And now there's not so much arch in the back, but there's a lot of work in the abs. Our pelvis is neutral. Our core is engaged. And now we're going to reach the arms out to the sides of the body. Not close, but create space for yourself, right? Keep the energy and the work happening in the legs. Keep your chin parallel to the floor and find a gaze point, a drishti, right in front of you to look at. Soft gaze. Soften your mouth, soften your lips. So we're creating a strong pose with our body and our muscles, but our face is not showing it. We're not like this. So there's always an effort and an ease in every yoga pose. Maybe close your eyes, feel this pose in your body, establish it, imprint it. One cycle of breath here. On your inhale, push your feet down as you reach your arms up. Exhale, reach your arms out, hinge forward and softly bend your knees on your way down. Slide your fingertips to your calves. Inhale, lift your chest, and we're gonna do the same thing we did on hands and knees. Roll the shoulder heads back, open the chest. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, feet down, swing the arms up overhead. Come up with a flat back. Stretch the arms out and reach it all the way up. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana, same actions. Legs, buttocks, tummy, arm. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Straighten your back on your way down. Keep your back long. Fingertips to calves. Lift your chest. Roll the shoulder heads back. Pause. Use your core. So the only way we are lifting up is through the core, right? If we let go with the arms, we're still up. So a lot of work in the navel. Exhale, refold, root to rise. Press your feet down, stretch your arms out, lift up, navel to spine. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Keep going, arms out to the side. And then arms all the way up towards the sky. Pause. Again, buttocks to heels, navel in. This is still action. This is still a pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Tadasana. One more half sun salutation. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Fingertips to calves, lengthen spine. Exhale, fold back. Root to rise, stretch up. Come down. Tadasana. Reestablish the pelvis, the core. Broaden out through the collarbones as you feel the shoulder blades press into each other. Sun salutation C, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands down. Sorry, I have an interaction here with the spider. Plant your hands down, step your right foot back, pause. Low lunge. Come onto your fingertips again so you can open up, broaden out through the collarbone. Reach your right heel all the way back. Maybe feel a good stretch in the right hip flexor. Right knee comes down, flatten out the toes. Draw the navel in, squeeze the thighs together, reach your arms up, Anjaneyasana. So root down through the right knee as you extend the sternum up, the chest, the heart lifts. Again, try not to go like this and impinge the low back. Keep the spine straight. And maybe shift your hips forward to get a deeper stretch here, but you don't have to. It's not necessary. Bring your hands to heart center. Draw the navel in, lengthen, and then exhale, twist to your left. Maybe you reach your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Keep the length in the spine. If you are collapsing, find length. So it's not about the twist so much as the length. On your exhale, release the hands to the mat. Curl the toes underneath, lift the knee. And using the core, moving slowly and mindfully, step your left foot back. Plank pose. Reach your heels back, back, back. Again, widen out through the collarbones. Roll the shoulder heads back. Ready? Exhale, down dog. Bend your right knee. Step your foot next to your right thumb. Pause here, low lunge. Widen out through the collarbones. Come onto your fingertips. Stretch the left heel back. Keep the left thigh up. Aha, good. Back knee down. Flatten out your back toe. Moving mindfully, direct the navel in. Reach the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Again, feel the root on the left side as you extend your chest upward. How is the breath? Bring your hands to heart. Core is still working. Lengthen. Exhale, twist to your right. Maybe left elbow connects to the outside of the right knee. Keep the length, keep the breath. How is the breath going? Exhale, hands come down onto your mat. Listen carefully. Curl the back toes, lift the knee. Again, low lunge, step forward. Fingertips to calves, lengthen, core in, lift, reach forward, and then place the weight into your toes. And maybe you slowly lower a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, fold. Root down, rise up, reach your arms up towards the sky. Navel in, stretch up, press down. Bring your hands through heart center. So you'll find that there's a lot of opposite actions in yoga, and that is intended for the stretch and for the mind challenge. Bring your hands, your arms out. Tadasana. Let's do sun salutation A. As you lift your arms, root your feet down. Lift up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands down. Step your left foot back. Right foot follows, plank. Position your shoulders above your wrists. Remember, you can always move your shoulders by moving your toes back and forth or your heels back and forth. Take an exhale, lower the knees down, flatten out your toes. Core in, contract the core. Shift forward. Exhale, bend your elbows, modify chaturanga all the way down. Don't let your hips sink until your shoulders lower. Slide your hands back. Press your elbows in. Inhale, lift the chest, baby cobra. Keep the bottom ribs on the mat. Press your pubic bone down into the mat and notice how you cancel out the low back impingement. Find your breath, find your lift with each inhale. Your chest maybe lifts. Next, inhale, lift your hands off the mat. Press the tops of the feet down. Exhale, fold. Place one cheek onto your mat. Walk your hands back, squeeze your elbows, curl your toes, press up to all fours, and then down dog. 5 breaths here. Press down through all 10 fingers, both palms. Soften your shoulder heads away from your ears. Chest toward your thigh, navel in. Kneecaps lifting. Soft jaws. Inhale, look in between your hands. Exhale, step or hop to the front. Fingertips to calves, halfway lift, lean forward. Exhale, fold, root to rise, press down, reach your arms up and wide. Urdhva Hastasana. Bring your hands through heart. Tadasana. 2 more times. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, core in. Fold. Plant your hands down. Step your right foot back. Left foot back. Plank. So we're going to seesaw forward. Draw your heels forward, shoulders over wrists, shoulders beyond wrists, and exhale, heels back, shoulders above wrists. Inhale, heels forward. Exhale, heels back. Lower the knees down, flatten the toes. Keep the core braced. Shift forward. Bend your elbows, slowly lower all the way onto your mat. Slide your elbows underneath your shoulders. Come into Sphinx pose. Press the forearms and the palms down. Lift. Let me take this off. Now I'm hot. Okay, so Sphinx pose, yes? Make sure that your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. And now with your shoulders, draw them down and back. And lift your chest up. Lift your sternum. Press your pubic bone down. Again, being conscious of the low back. Press the tops of the feet down. And keep your thighs engaged. How is your breath here? And then sometimes we tend to bring the chin up. Keep the chin long, so draw the chin towards the chest. Keep the neck long. So notice my neck. It's crunching. But when I create a slight chin tuck, now I elongate the spine. And then exhale, Lower forehead down. Find your breath here. Let's pad our forehead. So place your hands, stack them on top of each other, and place your forehead on your hands. Bend your knees and sway your heels side to side so windshield wipe your feet. Lower your feet down back to center. Place your hands beside your chest, ribs. Curl your toes. Come into all fours first. Recruit the navel and then exhale, shift back down dog. So I'm also very mindful during transitions from one pose to the other because that's an area where we can have injury. Keep the core in, belly braced. Find your breath. Take an inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, step, or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, open up the collarbones. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, press your feet down, reach your arms out and up, navel in, long spine, reach up. Bring it all the way down. One more full sun salutation, back to Tadasana. Inhale up, exhale, fold. Slide, lift up, refold. Plant your hands down, step your feet back, plank pose. In plank, your kneecaps are still engaged. Exhale, bend your knees, lower down. Shift forward, keep your core braced, bend your elbows, and then lower your hips and shoulders at the same time. Nice, beautiful. Draw the elbows in, inhale, baby cobra. Stay here, and then crawl your hands out, wide cobra. Come onto your fingertips. Exhale, fold. Hands next to chest or ribs, curl the toes, tabletop, and then down dog. Keep both thighs engaged. On an inhale, lift your right leg up. Okay. Now, round your spine, bring your knee into your chest, step your foot in between your hands. Pause. Back heel comes down. Windmill your arms up, warrior two. Find your breath. Okay, so now if you feel your right hip, right buttocks is pushing out, use the buttocks to bring it into the center of the mat. Good. Find your gaze, your drishti beyond your middle finger. And then let's look back to the left hand. Where is the arm? Is it down here? Is it up high? We want to keep it at shoulder height. So there's a lot of awareness we're bringing into our body. Now let's look forward. And then let's take a break. Straighten your front leg, reach your arms up. Maybe look up. Exhale, rebend. Again, use the outer hip. Press the outer hip in rather than letting it slide out. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, rebend. One more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. Bring your hands on your hips, straighten your front leg. Maybe cut your stance a little, so walk the back foot in. Press down through both legs and keep the thighs engaged. So we're still scissoring the thighs here, okay? Cut your hips back, push your hips all the way back, and find the length through bottom and top torso. Keep pushing the hips back, and then slide your right hand down onto your shin. Reach your left arm up. Triangle pose. Again, those thighs are still engaged. They're firing. Pretend like there's something in between them. Right leg is straight. Now come into extended triangle. Reach the left arm beyond the front of the mat. Press into your back foot. Come back to standing. And then come back to warrior two. Now bring your hands onto your torso and notice if you're leaning forward, place your torso right on top of your hips. Direct your front knee forward, tracking it with the second toe. And then bring your right hand down, left hand follow, step back plank. Coming into a modified Vashisthasana, place your right knee down, angle the right foot, flatten the left foot down, reach your left arm up. So everything is in line, the right hand, the right knee, the left foot. Use your breath. Left hand comes down. Step back to plank, or you can already be in modified plank with your knees down. Left knee down, angle out the left foot, flatten the right foot, reach the right arm up. So lift the left side of the body away from the mat. How? By using the core. One more breath here. Exhale, bring your right hand down. Come into child's pose. Slowly come back, push your fingers down, your hands down, come into downward facing dog. Lift your kneecaps, and on an inhale, lift your left leg up. Round your spine, bring your knee into your chest, step your foot in between your hands, back heel comes down, windmill the arms up, warrior two, other side. So I'll just show you a back view of warrior two. So align your left knee with your second toe. Try not to let the knee come in or go out. Now, if your buttocks is pushing out, draw the outer hip into your body, lift the core, stretch your arms out. Press into your right foot. Keep your right thigh firm. So the right thigh is straight. And we're still using the thighs here, so pretend like there's something in between the thighs as well. A lot of legs here, a lot of legs. If you're leaning forward, bring your hands on your ribs and bring yourself back so that your chest, your shoulders is right above your hips. How is your breath here? Take an inhale, reach the arms up, straighten your front leg. Exhale, rebend and stretch, warrior two. Let's look back to the right hand, and where is it hanging out in space? Return the gaze forward, and then inhale, straighten arms, straighten leg. Rebend, warrior two. As you bend, press into your right foot. One more, reach up. Exhale, fold. Hands onto your hips, straighten your front leg, and maybe you cut your stance just a tad. Keep the thighs engaged, so pretend like they're scissors and you want them to come back together. Right thigh pressing back, hands on hips, cut your hips back, keep the length. Micro bend the left knee as you slide your hand on your left shin. Draw the navel in, reach the right arm up. Triangle pose. How is the breath? Keep drawing the left outer hip into the center of the body, into the center of the mat. Now extend the right arm beyond the front of the mat, extended side angle. Keep the breath going. Right hand down onto the mat, left hand down. Step back, plank. Lower down, child's pose. Come back to downward facing dog. On an inhale, look in between your hands. On your exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Inhale, upward facing, upward, the arms, I don't know. Urdhva Hastasana, I forget the translation. Bring the hands down through heart center. We're gonna do just a quick modified warrior or sun salutation B. Take an inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, sink the hips back, come into chair pose. Keep the belly braced, keep the spine long. Bring your hands to heart center. Revolve over to your right. Find length and maybe connect your left elbow to your right knee. Take an inhale, come back to center, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, navel in. Refold, root to rise, stretch your arms up overhead. And then exhale, sink back, chair pose. Hands to heart center, find length. Exhale, revolve to your left. Connect the right elbow maybe to the left. And then find center, refold Uttanasana. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, navel in. Exhale, fold, root to rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Reach, stretch the arms up overhead. Bring your hands through heart center. Release the hands down. Step the right foot back. And then walk or scoot your left foot forward so you can bend in that left knee And your hips are trying to go square, but they're not going to because that's not how our body works. So our shoulders stay above our hips. Everything moves together. Reach the arms up, warrior one. Again, find the energy, the activation in the core. How is the breath going? Straighten your front leg, reach your arms behind you. Maybe take the back foot forward just a little bit. You can bring your fists together. You can grab onto your opposite elbows. You can do reverse prayer. So whatever it is you want to do here, lengthen your spine, draw the navel in. Exhale, cut your hips back and recline over your left leg. As you draw your torso towards your left leg, please add a micro bend to your left knee. Keep pressing into your your right heel. Take an inhale, root into the foot as you lengthen up. Step forward, release the hands. So many spider webs. All right, step the left foot back. And you want the left heel to be angled in just a little bit. And again, scoot your foot if necessary to bend in your right knee. Coming back into warrior one, reach your arms up overhead. Find your drishti. Keep your breath alive. Two more cycles of breath. Bring your hands onto your hips, straighten your front leg. Maybe walk your foot in a little bit. So you want to be on train tracks rather than on a tightrope. So make yourself comfortable here. Cut your hips back. Oh, before that, let's figure out what you want to do with your hands. So maybe it's elbows this time for me. Lengthen your torso up. Press into your left heel as you hinge forward. Micro bend the right knee. Keep both thighs active. Pubic bone to navel, lengthen up. Release the hand and step forward. One more chair pose, Utkatasana, reach up. Exhale, bend. If it's a little too much shoulder into the neck, you can always reach your fingertips forward, or you can come into cactus arms. And then exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. And then when we are in Uttanasana, we always have the thighs engaged, the kneecaps are lifting. If this is too much, then we bend our knees in Uttanasana. Now let's all bend our knees as we lower our buttocks onto our mat. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna come onto our bellies and we're gonna practice the pelvic tilt that we have been doing throughout class. So you're gonna lower your bellies onto your mat. Your hips are on your mat. And I'll show you before you get into it, and then I'll walk you through it, okay? So this is called upward facing bow, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Or I'm sorry, this is called Dhanurasana. So we start off by creating that pelvic tilt, right? So this time, since I'm not on my back, I'm going to glide the buttocks flesh towards the heel. So I want to see if there's a difference. Do you see a difference to when I do it and when I don't? Yes. Okay, so there's some contraction in the buttocks. There's a lot of contraction in the belly, okay? So I'm contracting the belly, I'm contracting the buttocks. I bend my knees, and I reach, lift my chest, and I grab onto my ankles. And then I lift. But I have to work on keeping the pubic bone pushing down so that the buttocks flesh goes down, rather than everything lifting, and then it just really hurts the low back. So we're gonna do it very, very slowly, and we're gonna be very, very mindful and aware. If it hurts, come out of it, and I'll give you something else to do. So these are just poses that we use just to kind of use and get us aware, but we can always do different things, okay? So bring your forehead on the mat. Knees. Even before we bend up, draw the navel in, contract the buttocks a little. Keep the work in pelvis, in the buttocks, and in the core. And then reach your arms back, push the pubic bone down, and see if you can grab an ankle and the other. Without releasing the core, lift and press your hands into your ankles. So it's both pressing the hands and the ankle feet. How is the breath? And then exhale, lower down, opposite cheek or back to forehead. And let's take a Shalabhasana in between. So walk your feet to each other. Press the pubic bone down. Inhale, lift the chest, reach the arms back. And now lift, hover the legs. Find your breath here. Feel the pubic bone pushing down, the core is still braced. Exhale, refold, lower all the way down. Okay, now we're going to do Dhanurasana. So they're slightly similar. Okay, brace the core, butt is flushed down, bone down, bend your knees, grab on, lift your chest, grab onto your ankle, and now push your ankle into your hand, hand presses back, get the other ankle, create the same equal and opposite reaction. Come into Dhanurasana. And when you're ready, lower down. Away from the body. Take your arm in a T. Onto the right hip. Bend your left knee. Keep both arms in a T. We're doing a shoulder stretch here. So come back onto your belly. Open up your arms. Maybe even watch me before we get into it. Both arms are in the T. My left elbow, my right arm is still on the grass. I roll onto the right hip. And my right arm is still on the grass getting stretched. If I want to, I bend my bottom knee. I'll come around and help you. Oh no. Okay. So open your arm. Yeah, good. Bend your left elbow. Roll. Yeah, bend your knee. Yeah, yes, good. Uh-huh. So put your foot down. Bend your knee. Uh-huh. Put your head down. And then you'll feel the more you move your hips back, you feel more stretch. So again, you are the captain of your ship. Come back onto your tummy. When you're ready, bend your right arm, roll onto your left hip, bend your right knee, and you can also bend your left knee as well, just depending on what's comfortable for you. You can place your right foot on your left leg. You can place the right foot behind you. One more cycle of breath. And then let's roll on to our tummy. Slide the hands underneath the shoulders, curl the toes, come into all fours, and then sit on your heels, and then swing your legs forward. Bend your knees, place the soles of your feet together. Lengthen up, exhale, twist. Fold forward. Maybe use your elbows to press into your legs as you fold. Pubic bone to navel, lengthen up. Bring your right knee into your chest. Straighten your left leg. Flex through the left leg. Lengthen up. Exhale, twist to your right. Drop your right hand. So listen carefully here. Slide your left heel forward and let your left hip follow. That way your hips are now at an angle and your twist gets a little deeper. Do we all understand? Yes. Perfect. So you'll see you get more of a twist rather than keeping your hips locked. Take an inhale, come back to center. Left knee comes in, right leg stretches down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. And then drop your left hand down. How is your breath? We're going to do it again. Slide your right heel forward. Your right hip follows. And you get more twist. So your hips are angled. Now your right hip is going towards the front of the mat. Your left hip is going towards the back of the mat. Find yourself back to center. Your right heel, your right hip comes back. Straighten your legs. We're going to sit up nice and tall for Dandasana. So bring your hands on the outsides of your hips. Broaden out through the collarbones. And again, feel the pinch in your shoulder blades. Keep the ribs in. So corset the ribs. Find your breath. Coming into Paschimottanasana. Reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, bend your knees and reach forward. So we're giving our back legs a break. Let your back round. Crawl your hands back towards your hips, lengthen your spine. Bend your knees here. So have your right foot on top of your left thigh. So I think some people call this mermaid legs. Both hips press down, lengthen up, and then exhale, recline forward. Maybe you pancake your hands and you place your forehead on your hands. Slowly walk your hands back. We're gonna switch positions, bending them over to your right. Lengthen up, and then exhale, fold.
The quarterfinals kicked off with
Navel to spine, lift up. Swing your legs forward. Slowly lower down onto your backs. Bend your knees into your chest. Come into happy baby. Grab the outside edges of your feet. Rock side to side. And then bring your knees to chest, to center. Lift your head up, squeeze yourself in a tiny little ball. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then exhale, lower yourself all the way down for Shavasana. Palms facing up, arms away from the sides of the body. No longer controlling the muscles, no longer controlling the breath. Shavasana. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Roll onto your right side. Come into fetal position. Use your bottom arm as a pillow. Using your top hand, slowly come up to seated, keeping your eyes closed. Bringing your hands to heart center in gratitude. Slowly bow your head to your heart. Thank you all for sharing your practice with me, and thank yourselves for showing up to your mat. Namaste. Thank you.